At my son's wedding, my new daughter-in-law asked me for my apartment keys in front of 100 people. When I said no, she slapped me, hard enough that the band went silent and the servers stopped walking. 2 minutes later, she made a phone call. 5 minutes after that, a man walked through the ballroom doors, and the entire hall broke into tears when they saw him. That was the second most humiliating moment of my life. The first was prison. I didn't cry when she hit me. I'm stubborn like that. I'm 62 years old. I taught high school English for 37 of those years, and I watched 14-year-olds go from writing poems about dogs to stabbing each other over sneakers. You don't spend all that time around other people's kids and not learn how to look calm when you're getting gutted. But I felt every single eye on me. We were at the Birchwood Country Club, Clara's choice, of course. Clara, who had been part of our lives for about 14 months and somehow already talked like she'd been voted in as queen of everything. Her smile is the kind you see on real estate billboards. Her father runs some regional contracting company. Old money pretending to be new money to feel young again. My son Daniel was glowing. He's 32, lean, expensive haircut, expensive watch, expensive way of talking, where he never says no, only, we'll figure it out. He hasn't figured out a single thing he didn't Google first since 2009. The DJ had just called for speeches. I was up next. I stood and straightened the jacket I had rented. The jacket still had a little punched hole where the store's alarm tag used to be, right at the seam. Nobody with money ever worries about small holes. They wear distressed and call it design. People like me notice holes. It's how we stay alive. Then Clara turned, took the microphone from the maid of honor, and said, all sweet like frosting, "Before we continue, there's one tiny thing we need to work out. Dad." She doesn't call me Dad in private. In private, she calls me Howard, like it's a chore stuck to her tongue. I said, "What tiny thing is that, Clara?" She put her hand on my arm and smiled wide for the room. "You brought the keys, right?" There was a hush. She had stage instincts, I'll give her that. I said, "Keys." "The apartment keys," she said, still smiling. "We talked about it." People laughed nervously. Champagne makes people bold and stupid in that order. "We didn't talk about any such thing," I said. Now she faced the room like I was a dog who peed on the rug. "So, funny story," she said. "We've been trying to help Howard. He lives alone in that apartment and, you all know how it is at his age, right? It would be better he moved in with us. Safer, cleaner, closer to family. Right?" Some sympathetic sounds. I watched faces. I always watch faces. Anyone can make their mouth say whatever. The eyes tell the truth. I said slow, "I'm not moving in with you." "We don't want you to feel abandoned," she said, still soft. "We're just trying to keep an eye on you. We love you." "Don't use that word like it's air freshener," I said. That got a couple of laughs from the old tables, the ones who knew me before I learned to swallow my tongue, before prison. Clara's smile cracked half an inch. She looked at Daniel. He wouldn't meet my eyes. That hurt more than anything else in that moment. I raised this boy mostly alone after his mother died. When he broke his arm at 9, I slept on the floor next to his bed for a week in case he needed water. I didn't feel my back for a month after that. Clara turned back to me. The smile was gone now. The voice was still performance soft, but you could hear the blade in it. "Give me the keys, Howard." "No," I said. Her nostrils flared. She didn't whisper. She wanted this scene. "You're being difficult. You're embarrassing Daniel." I said, "He's doing a fine job on his own." A couple laughs. That was a mistake. I should not have said that in front of her. I knew right away. She held the mic away from her mouth, turned to me, and said quiet so only I could hear, "Hand me the keys, old man." I'm old enough to know when I'm in a test. I'm old enough to know when you either bow or get hit. I didn't bow. "I pay that rent," I said. "I live there. I don't hand you my life like it's a favor basket from the welcome table." Her hand flashed. It was not a playful little tap. She hauled off and slapped me in the face like I had just spit on the cake. My head snapped sideways, my cheek burned. The room gasped all at once like an audience in a magic trick where the woman gets cut in half and they all swear they didn't know it was coming. I heard glass wobble. I heard someone whisper, "Jesus." I didn't raise a hand. I didn't step back. I said, loud enough to carry, "There it is. That's the real you." The DJ cut the music. Clara, shaking, turned away from me and raised the mic back up. "I'm sorry you all had to see that," she said, voice cracking like she was the victim. "He's confused. Daniel and I have been trying to help him move forward, but he's fighting us. It's not healthy at his age to be so isolated." Whispers, pity, all directed at her. This next part, I didn't understand in the moment. I only understood later. She pulled her phone out, dialed, held it to her ear. People love spectacle. If you humiliate someone at a wedding, it's better than free drinks. "Hi," she said into the phone, her voice shaking on command. "Can you come in, please? He won't listen. I don't know what he might do." That was strategic language. That was careful language. I'd heard language like that before. In statements, in hearings, in front of panels and badges. I froze inside. It felt like a cold hand reached into my chest and squeezed. You learn, when you've spent time inside, that sentences like, "I don't know what he might do," get lights flashing fast. I leaned toward Daniel. "You called the police? At your wedding?" He wouldn't look at me. He just rubbed his forehead and said, "Dad, can you just not make a scene?" "Not make a scene," I said. "After your bride just tried to evict me with an open hand." "Please, Dad," he said. The ballroom doors opened. Every single person in that hall turned at once. Half of them gasped. The other half started crying like this was a reunion show. And I forgot how to breathe for a second, because striding through those doors in a black jacket and cheap tie was a man I had not seen in almost 9 years. His name back then was Reggie. I knew him as inmate 44183 when I was inside. Everyone in there called him Reggie. He was 20 when I met him. Prison tough, prison funny, but not built for cages. I taught him how to read better than a truck label. He taught me which guards were decent and which ones would smile at you while they wrote you up. I did 3 years on a charge I will go to my grave saying I didn't deserve. Fraud, they called it. The state likes to put long words on things, so the public nods and says, "Good, get them off the street." It never mattered that the fraud was a mess of falsified paperwork someone else ran through my name when I co-signed for a parent who couldn't get a bank loan. I was the teacher who vouched. The money moved. Somebody bought themselves jet skis, and my signature was on page 3. The DA needed a win. My lawyer wore a tie with mustard on it. I learned what concrete tastes like. Never mind all that. The point is, prison took what I had left, shook it out, and handed me back something else, something harder, something colder. And now here was Reggie, walking in like backup in a movie. The whole room started crying because Reggie wasn't just some guy. He had a story. Years back, he'd taken the fall for his older brother in some local mess. The papers turned him into a kind of tragic kid hero who'd done time so his family could stay together. Clara's crowd ate that kind of thing like candy. They love redemption stories, ones they can talk about at brunch. But that's not why he was there. He was there because Clara called him, and he was walking toward me. My heart thudded slow. I had 2 thoughts in that moment. 1, she is staging me as dangerous. She is arranging witnesses. She is painting a picture in public so nobody questions whatever she does next in private. 2, Reggie still owes me. He reached me. We were face to face. Up close, he looked older than 30. Prison ages you like bad weather. His jaw was tighter, eyes sharper, but it was him. "Mr. Hale," he said, and my throat hurt at the sound of my own name said like that. Respectfully, like I was still a person. All around us the whispers were building. "Oh my God, it's him. It's the guy from the paper. It's that guy. Wait, is this like part of the vows? Is this planned? Oh my God, they're doing like an intervention for the dad. Oh my God, this is so intense. Clara looked like a saint who just arranged a miracle. She wiped a perfect tear. Howard is having a moment, she said to the room. We just want to keep him safe. Keep me safe, like I was a rabid animal. Reggie leaned in, and he did something nobody expected. He hugged me. This big ex-con in a cheap tie wrapped his arms around me and pulled me in like a son would his father and whispered in my ear so quiet nobody else could catch it. I still owe you, Mr. Hale, he said. Say the word. And that was the moment, right there, standing with his arms around me and my cheek still stinging, and Clara staring like she just got handed a judge's gavel, that I made a decision. Not a little one. Not one of those New Year's resolution kind of decisions people make and forget in a week. A bone-deep one. The kind that changes a person from what they pretend to be into what they really are. I was done being the old man who won't make a scene. I was done being handled. Clara wanted my keys. Instead, I was going to take her life apart, piece by rotten piece, while she watched. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. Weddings are like crime scenes. You think it's all celebration, but really it's fingerprints, witnesses, timelines, and motive. After Reggie hugged me, nobody quite knew how to react. Clara looked irritated for a split second, then remembered people were still watching and pasted compassion back on her face like lip gloss. It's okay, she told the room. We've got him. Everything's okay. Got him. Like I was a fish she reeled in. The server started moving again, but slower. The DJ tried to bring the music back up, but nobody danced. The energy had curdled. It takes one public fracture to tell you what a marriage is going to be built on. Daniel finally walked over to me. His tie was off-center. He wouldn't look me in the eye. Can we talk outside, he said. We can talk here, I said. Please. Reggie squeezed my shoulder once and drifted back, staying close. That detail wasn't lost on me. He wasn't leaving. He was waiting. We stepped out into the hall near the bathrooms. You could still hear the wedding through the wall. Laughter, breaking dishes, the squeal of some cousin, the usual human background noise people call joy. Daniel ran his hand through his hair. Dad, you made it weird. I made it weird, I said. He sighed like I was a student with late homework. You could have just given her the keys. Now it's a whole thing. Daniel, I said, that's my apartment. I've lived there 15 years. Your mother picked the paint in the kitchen. She died in that kitchen. You want me to hand the keys to a girl who just slapped me because I didn't roll over on command. How do you think that works? Can you not call her a girl? He said. She's my wife. I'm aware. He swallowed, looked around, lowered his voice. Look, we talked about you moving in with us. You forget things, Dad. You left the oven on last month. Once, I said. Once is enough to burn down the building. There are 6 fireproofed units under me. If it burns down, it's because the place was built by the same cousins who did your DJ speakers. And we didn't talk about me moving in. We talked about you visiting once a week. You remember that, or is it only me who does? Clara's just stressed, he said. Today's a lot. You know how she gets when she feels like stuff isn't under control. Oh, I do, I said. She's trying to make sure you're safe is all. She's got a plan so everybody's taken care of. She thinks ahead. She thinks ahead about how to get my lease in her name, I said. He stiffened. There it was. Excuse me, I said. Did you seriously already file something? It's not like that, he said. It's exactly like that, I said. Your wife just tried to publicly shake my pockets on your wedding night. That's not like that. That's exactly like that. He rubbed his temples. We're not trying to steal anything, Dad. It's for you, so you have stability. I got stability, I said. It's a paid lease. You got student debt and credit card debt and a new life you're performing. I got stability. He flinched, and that was when I saw it. Shame. Anger. And under that, something darker. Entitlement. The kind that grows in people who think they're owed a prize for surviving their childhood. Kids raised by a single parent sometimes grow up one of two ways. Either they're forged by it, or they take it as proof the world is supposed to finally give them something back. My son had turned into door number 2. I am your father, I said, not your donor organ. It's not about that, he said through his teeth. It's about you not living alone and drinking and burning something down and falling or something, and we have to drop everything and take care of it. Clara and I can't start a family if we're basically on call for you every second. I laughed. I couldn't help it. It wasn't a happy laugh. You think I want you to take care of me, I said. After what I already took from you just by being gone 3 years, you think I want to be a burden to you. That's rich. He looked up sharp. You were gone because you did that. I didn't ask for that. And there it was. Another one. Another slice. I didn't do it, I said. We're not doing this, he said, voice tight. Not tonight. That was always the rule. We're not doing this. We're not talking about how Dad went away. We're not talking about how Mom died, and then Dad disappeared, and then Dad came home with state-issue eyes. The rule kept dinner polite. It did not, however, make truth stop being truth. He checked his watch. A nervous tell. He'd done that since middle school. Please, can we just keep the peace? Clara's family. It's important they feel like we're united. Her father is watching. Yeah, I said. I noticed. He looked like a man guarding his investment. Daniel winced. Don't. Please. Just don't insult him. I insulted him, I said, by refusing to let his daughter take my home like it was a centerpiece. I watched his face, and I realized something. Daniel really, truly thought I should have given her the keys. He didn't see the act as theft. He saw it as efficiency. Transfer resources to the nucleus household. Consolidate. Strip the old node. Feed the new one. Natural. I said, You made copies, didn't you? He didn't answer. Which was an answer. They had already been in my place. My stomach dropped like an elevator. Get out of my building, I said. Excuse me, he said. You and your wife do not step foot in my building without my say-so. Do you hear me, Daniel? I said. We're not having a conversation. I'm telling you. If I see you at my door without me in front of you, we're done. You're being dramatic, he said. That's what you said when you crashed your mother's car into Mrs. Keene's mailbox and told her it just kind of rolled, I said. Turns out you were lying then too. He flushed. Stop treating me like a kid. Then stop acting like one, I said. He stared at me for a long time. Then his jaw set the way it does when he thinks he's the adult in the room. This is happening, Dad, he said. One way or another. It's healthier this way if we all agree on it, but it's happening either way. Clara will make sure of it. She's got it handled. I felt something in me go cold and clear. Does she now? I said. Please just don't make yourself look worse, he said, and walked back toward the reception. Worse. Worse than the senile drunk they had just painted me as in front of 100 witnesses. I stayed in that hall a long time. My hands were shaking, which pissed me off, because I didn't want that visible to anyone. Hands tell stories the mouth won't. Reggie stepped out and leaned against the wall across from me. You good, Mr. Hale, he said. No, I said. We stood in silence. Finally, I said, You working for them now? He laughed, just once. Nah. Clara called my girl called me, said, You remember that teacher who taught you commas? His kid's woman is out here calling him crazy at some wedding like he's a stray dog. You better get over there before something goes left and next thing you know his face is in a paper. I showed up. So this wasn't her trick, I said. Oh, it was still her trick, he said. She wanted muscle for optics. You feel me? She wanted to show the room she cares, and also let you know she got folks. Only she don't got me. I don't belong to her. That's different. I nodded. You still got that thing in you, he said. What thing? I said. That cold teacher voice, he said. The one that made me feel like maybe I wasn't dumb, but also made me scared to mess up commas. I heard it when you told her, there it is. That's the real you. You said it same way you used to say, there's the subject and there's the verb. Calm. Like it was already over. Reggie, I said, you got a job now, or you running freelance security for angry brides full time? He grinned. Logistics. We do deliveries, private. High-value stuff. Know who's moving what, who's paying who's trying to stiff who. Not illegal. Grey. You know how it is. I did. You still owe me, he said softer, and his face got serious. You remember when I couldn't read that letter from my mama, and you sat with me 2 hours and sounded it out, and then wrote her back what I wanted to say but couldn't. You remember that? I do, I said. I ain't forgot, he said. That debt don't expire. You need me, you say the word. If somebody's putting hands on you again, I will make that stop. I shook my head. Can't be like that. No broken bones, no police. This has to be clean. Understand me. It has to be clean. He raised his eyebrows. So, what we doing then? We're going to take their lives apart, I said. Piece by piece. We're going to strip them in public the way she tried to strip me. No cops, just ruin, slow and permanent. Reggie let out a low whistle. Mr. Hale, he said, you sure you ain't the villain in this movie? I'm done being the victim, I said. That wasn't my question, he said. I looked at him. Does it matter? He grinned again, all teeth. Not to me. 3 days later, I came home from the pharmacy and found my front door unlocked. That was when I knew none of this was just heat-of-the-moment wedding drama. This was a plan. I live in a 3-story brick box on Ridge Street. 6 units. Narrow hallway that always smells faintly like boiled cabbage because Mrs. Yelena on the 2nd floor cooks like the Soviet Union never ended. My place is 3B. 2 rooms, a galley kitchen, a view of the cracked parking lot and the highway beyond. I'm not going to lie and say it's charming. It isn't. The cabinets are older than Daniel. The carpet has seen things I won't bring up in polite company, but it's mine. It's quiet. And it's paid. Or it was. I stopped in the doorway and listened. I didn't hear anyone. No whisper, no footstep, but there was a smell that shouldn't have been there. Perfume. Something sharp and sweet. Clara smells like that. They'd been in everything. Not trashing, not rage. Worse, inventory. Closet doors were still a little open. My drawer of bills and records had been thumbed through and then closed wrong. A stack of IRS letters I'd kept from my appeal days was now upside down. The photo of Daniel and his mother that I keep on the bookshelf was turned backward, face to the wall. That detail made my jaw go tight. She died in our kitchen making eggs on a Sunday. Aneurysm. 1 second talking about whether we had enough milk to last to Monday. The next second gone so fast, I thought at first she was joking. You don't forget the sound your own knees make when they hit linoleum because the person you love isn't in their body anymore. When I came home from prison, some people had the nerve to ask me if it felt like losing Lily all over again. No, it felt like losing me. That's different. I walked into the bedroom. The box was on the bedspread. They'd found it. I keep one lockbox. It's fireproof. I don't keep cash in it. I keep things I can't trust the world with. Copies of Lily's will, my lease agreement, my pay stubs from the school, and a thumb drive with everything I saved during my appeal. Letters from Daniel from when he was 12 and didn't sound like an email from a tech startup. And one thing else. The thing else wasn't there. My stomach twisted. It wasn't money. I don't have money tucked away. You want to break into my life for stacks, you're going to be real disappointed. No, the missing item was a signed letter from my landlord from 6 years ago. A letter that said, in normal plain English, that as long as I was alive and paid rent on the 1st of the month, the apartment was mine, and when I couldn't live on my own anymore, the lease would transfer to Daniel directly, not to his estate, or his spouse, or whatever lawyer trick they could invent later. We had it written in normal English because he was old school and didn't trust legalese. The deal was, we put it in writing exactly how we said it out loud, and we both signed and dated it, and we both kept copies. My copy was gone. That right there was an act of war. I sat on the bed and breathed slow. If I walked into this the way a normal person would, I'd call Daniel, he'd deny, Clara would cry, and suddenly I'd be apologizing for accusing them. That's how abusers stay clean, by the way. They weaponize politeness. They count on you not wanting to cause drama. Drama favors the ruthless. I learned that inside. The one who doesn't care how loud it gets wins. So I didn't call. I called Reggie. He answered on the second ring. Mr. Hale. They were in my place, I said. You good, he said. I'm fine. But a document is missing, I said. Important one. Paper. I need it back. You want me to go get it, he said. Because I can go get it. No cops, I said. Who said anything about cops, he said, almost offended. I'm saying, I said. We can't lay hands. We can't break bones. We do this clean. I want them ruined, not myself in cuffs. Understand me. I can't go back in. I won't go back in. If I go back in at my age, I won't come out the same way, and I don't mean I'd die in prison. I mean I'd come out something my wife wouldn't recognize. Reggie was quiet. Then, say less. I'll ask around. I'm going to see who they brag to. Clara brags, I said. Daniel listens. She's the engine. He's the permission slip. Got it, he said. And Reggie, I said. Yeah. You work legit now, right? I said. You said logistics. I need clean hands around this. I need to be able to stand in front of a judge if it comes to that and say, I didn't orchestrate anything violent. You understand the stakes. I understand stakes, he said. I ate state meatloaf for 6 years. I know stakes. He hung up. I sat in the quiet of my bedroom and stared at the empty space in the lockbox where that landlord letter had lived for 6 years. I thought of my son, standing at his wedding, telling me I'd embarrass him, telling me not to make myself look worse, like I was some wild dog they needed to sedate. Then I thought of Clara's face, that split second right after she slapped me, before she remembered the room was watching. That flash of panic and fury. There's your real person right there. The face they make when they think nobody can see. She had planned this. She had walked into my home, opened my box, pulled out a promise that kept me safe, and she had done it like she was picking out a dress. That wasn't convenience. That was war. I walked to the kitchen and pulled the cheap bottle of bourbon from above the fridge. I don't drink like I used to. Prison beats that out of you. You drink heavy in there. You owe people favors. I don't owe anyone favors. But I poured a shot. My hand still shook, which annoyed me to no end. I leaned against the counter Lily once leaned against, closed my eyes, and let myself feel it. Rage. Pure and clean, like oxygen after you've been underwater too long. I hadn't felt it like that since I stood in a courtroom and listened to a judge who never met my wife call me willfully deceptive. He said it like it tasted good. Meanwhile, the real thief was sitting in the back row pretending to cry in a floral dress. I opened my eyes. Reggie called back 40 minutes later. Mr. Hale, he said. We got movement. Tell me, I said. So Clara had brunch with her girls, right? She talks a lot. She always talking about strategy, like she's a general, and the world is a campaign. One of those girls dates my cousin's cousin, you feel me? So word travels. She said, and I'm quoting this so you hear the flavor, by next month the lease will be in my name, like it should be, and we'll Airbnb the place till we flip it. They said Airbnb, I said. Yes, sir, he said. She thinks she's going to take my apartment, I said, and turn it into short-term rental income. That's the plot, he said. She ain't shy about it. She said, I gave that old man a chance to handle it nice, and he decided to be weird about it, so now it's going to get dirty. Her words. I laughed. I couldn't help it. That right there was something. Get dirty, I said. She did say that. There's more, Reggie said. Clara told them she's already got paperwork drafted to show that you've been declining. That was the word. Declining. She's got statements from 2 of her cousins saying you've been leaving your door unlocked, that you forget where you are, that you lashed out physically at her. She's laying foundation, Mr. Hale. Guardianship talk. She trying to get the courts to say you unfit, then she gets control, then she allocates you to safer housing. Guardianship. They weren't just stealing a set of keys. They were trying to have me declared incompetent. I felt my jaw clench so hard it hurt my ears. Reggie, I said. Yes, sir. You and me are going to build something, I said. What we building, he said. A case, I said. Not for court. For the court of public opinion. We're going to take her apart in front of her own people. We're going to flip the script so hard it dislocates. But first I need proof. Real proof. Not fantasy. Not some nonsense blog. I need real, on paper, in-hand proof about her. You mean dirt, he said. I mean truth, I said. Dirt is messy. Truth is permanent. He laughed. I like you, Mr. Hale. Don't like me, I said. Just help me bury them while staying out of a jumpsuit. Say less, he said. I'll start with her money. Here's something I learned both as a teacher and as an inmate tutor. The person who looks the cleanest is usually standing on the dirtiest floor. Clara came from money, but not the kind that makes Forbes lists. Her family money was local money, which means some of it was clean, most of it was muddy, and all of it was talked about more than it was actually counted. Her father, Victor, ran a contracting company that did emergency municipal services, which is a nice way of saying any time the town or the county had a water main break, or a sinkhole, or a structural emergency. Somehow, Victor's trucks were already idling 2 blocks away. You don't get that close to municipal money without a lot of handshakes and favors and stories nobody writes down. I wasn't aiming for Victor. Victor wasn't my problem. I'd learned the hard way that taking on a whole old boy network when you're just one man is like punching a brick wall. Your knuckles break and the wall doesn't even say thank you. No, I wanted Clara and Daniel. Surgical strike. Reggie came through faster than I expected. Her credit cards is one thing, he said the next night when he came by my apartment. He stood just inside the door, big frame filling half my living room, eyes always flicking to the hallway. Girl spends like she's allergic to balance. But that ain't leverage. Leverage is the gym trainer. The what now, I said. Clara's been seeing a trainer, he said. Private. 2 towns over, so nobody has to know. Only they do know, because she tips like she's buying silence. And people who get tipped like that always talk. You following me? I'm following, I said. Trainer is a him, he said. Him is married. Of course he is, I said. They've been meeting 3 mornings a week at his studio, Reggie said, putting air quotes around the word with his big hands. Studio is a condo his cousin rents. They ain't lifting weights in there, unless you count her purse. You feel me? Affair, I said. Yes, sir, he said. Months long, maybe a year. She talking about how she's bored, how Daniel's soft, how she needs a man who closes. Direct quote. She said she was going to lock down the apartment and then reassess her options. She's planning to leave him once she steals my place, I said. Yes, sir, he said. I sat back in my chair and felt something ugly and satisfied twist in my chest. This wasn't just greed. This was greed plus strategy plus coldness. My son, who had sat next to Lily's hospice bed and held her hand when he was 12 and said, I'll look after Dad, Mom. I promise, I promise, I promise. Promises made by bleeding kids in hospital rooms do not age well. I need eyes, I said. Already got them, Reggie said. See, the thing about people who cheat is they think they're smart, but they run the same play every time. Same parking spot, same bag, same answer, if anyone asks. So we got timestamps, we got license plates, we got phone pings. All legal, all from people in the building who are tired of her parking like she owns the whole lot. Folks love to gossip when you act like a queen in their castle. I want pictures, I said. You gonna show Daniel, he said. Eventually, I said, but not yet. If I walk in waving proof of her cheating right now, you know what happens. Yeah, Reggie said. He blames you. Says you spying. Says you trying to break them up. Exactly, I said. We can't hit that note yet. We have to let him ruin himself in front of the right audience first. He needs to say the wrong things to the right people, on record. Then we hand him the truth like a mirror. You sure you ain't the villain? Reggie said, grinning. I'm getting there, I said. We both laughed. I'll get you copies, he said. No faces you ain't supposed to have. Nothing that can get me hemmed up. Just proof she ain't loyal to your boy. You do the rest with your teacher brain. Good, I said. Now for step 2. What's step 2? He said. We invite them over, I said. You might wonder why I wanted them in my apartment again after what they'd pulled. Simple. People lie more confidently when they're on ground they think they've already taken. I called Daniel first. Hey, I said when he answered. You and Clara free Friday night? Long pause. He was wary. He had reason to be. Why? He said. I'm cooking, I said. Haven't cooked for you since the engagement party. Thought we could be civilized for a night. Talk like adults. You bring a bottle of whatever you rich kids drink now. I'll make that chicken you like. Clara can sit there and judge my plates. I know she loves that. He let out a little breath. Hope. He always did want us all to just get along, as if you can talk poison into acting like tea. I'll ask her, he said. That sounds good. It does, I said. Tell her she can bring her overnight bag if she's worried about appearances. Silence. Then, tight. What does that mean? Nothing, I said. Light. Just a joke. Friday at 7. He showed up at 7:20, which is Clara time. She believes punctuality is something servants worry about. She walked in like she'd bought the hallway, dressed too fancy for dinner with an old man. Hair done like she had backup lighting on her face, even in my dim living room. Perfume so strong it almost fought Yelena's boiled cabbage on the landing. Hi, Howard, she said, kissing the air on both sides of my face, like we were in some Parisian movie, and not a building where Mr. Evans downstairs runs his washing machine at 3 a.m., because the landlord won't replace his pipes and he can't sleep anyway. Clara, I said. Daniel. Daniel gave me a quick hug that felt more like a handoff. He looked tired. He also looked wired. I could see anxiety sitting in his shoulders like a second person. We sat. I plated chicken thighs, roasted potatoes, green beans with garlic. Nothing fancy, but I know how to brown a pan. Clara poked the beans with her fork like they might sue her. This is nice, she said, in the tone someone uses to say, this is a chair. It is, I said. We ate. We made small talk. How's work, Daniel? Busy. How's married life? Amazing. How's your gut lining after drinking an entire hotel bar the night of your wedding, like you were 21 again? Ha, Dad. Then I put my fork down and said, so, let's talk about the break-in. Clara froze. Daniel swallowed. Dad, come on. Come on what? I said. Dad, he said, warning voice. Don't start. Don't start, I said. I'm sorry. Were we not going to address the fact that you, Clara, came into my home, opened my private box, and removed a legally binding document with my signature on it? Was that not on tonight's agenda? I don't like your tone, she said. I don't like thieves, I said, her mouth pressed into a line. We were checking on you, she said. You weren't answering your phone and we were worried. Worried enough to open a locked fireproof box, I said. We thought maybe you hurt yourself and you left a note, she said, widening her eyes in fake concern. That's interesting, I said, because I was standing in the doorway watching you while you did it. Her face flickered. She hadn't known that. Daniel turned to her, slow. You told me he said it was fine, he said. It was fine, she said quickly. It was not fine, I said. Dad, Daniel said softly, a warning, like he was gently guiding a confused patient back into bed. Don't you dare, I said, voice low. Don't you dare talk to me like I'm wandering traffic. I'm not confused. I'm angry. Clara leaned forward. We are trying to care for you, she said, slow and patient like she was on a commercial for assisted living. But you are making it hostile, Howard. You drink. You forget. You left your oven on. You wander. Name one time I wandered, I said. You showed up at our place at 2 a.m. last week, she said. I was returning Daniel's jacket, I said. He left it here. I didn't want him to go to work cold in the morning. You scared me, she said, showing up banging on the door like that. Do you know how that felt? I texted, I said. Daniel said come by whenever. Those were his words. Daniel's jaw worked. It's still... boundaries, Dad. There it is, I said, nodding. That word, boundaries, perfect modern word, very clean, means don't touch my stuff, but I already touched yours. Howard, Clara said, sharp. Enough. My turn. Yes, I said quietly. Enough. I pulled out my phone. It's an old thing. Screen is cracked in the corner. Clara's been on me for a year to upgrade, like I'm some dinosaur embarrassing her brand. Funny how people who supposedly worry about your budget always want you to spend money on things that make them look better. I hit play. Daniel's voice filled the tiny kitchen, clear and undeniable. She's got a plan, so everybody's taken care of. She thinks ahead. We talked about you moving in with us. You forget things, Dad. You left the oven on last month. Once is enough to burn down the building. Clara's just stressed. Today's a lot. We're not trying to steal anything, Dad. It's for you, so you have stability. Daniel went white. Did you record me? He said. You recorded him, Clara hissed. I record everything now, I said. It's a habit I picked up in a place where if you didn't document what was real, someone else wrote it for you. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Daniel, listen to yourself. You sound like a concerned son, right? Responsible, caring, doing what you got to do for your poor old dad. You believe that. I know you do. You sleep at night with that pillow under you, but here's the part you don't hear. I leaned forward. Whose words are those? I said. Whose tone? Who taught you that script? Because you don't talk like that. You never did. You never used phrases like stability or taken care of or plan. That's not you. That's Clara talking through you. He opened his mouth, closed it. Clara said, This is ridiculous. You're making drama where there isn't any. This is unhealthy. The unhealthy part, I said, is you secretly filing guardianship papers on me so you can legally claim I'm unfit and move me out of here and take over my lease. You think I don't know. Their faces were worth framing. Daniel said, What? At the exact same time, Clara said, Who told you that? Doesn't matter, I said. What matters is I know, and you need to understand this part right here because it's the part where your little house of cards starts wobbling. I set my phone on the table between us like it was a live grenade. If you go forward with guardianship, I said, calm and clean, I will fight you. In public, I will not be quiet. I will not go to some facility like a dog at a shelter while you turn my home into your rental income. And you know what that fight will look like. It won't look like your Instagram charity posts or Clara's fake sympathy voice. It'll look like a whole bunch of people asking how your wife can campaign for legal control of me while she's meeting her personal trainer 3 mornings a week in a condo 2 towns over that does not have a treadmill in it. Silence. I love silence. It's honest. Clara went pale all at once like someone pulled her plug. Daniel stared at me, confused. Then those words got in, one by one, like coins dropping in a vending machine. Trainer. 3 mornings. Condo. No, he said. Yes, I said. He turned to Clara. What is he talking about? She laughed. You know that laugh people do when they're caught and they need noise so their brain can scramble for a path out. He's lying. He's trying to break us up. Reggie has time-stamped photos, I said. Different days. Same car. Same door. Same bag. You want me to air those out in front of your father, Clara? Or do you want to behave like a person right now? You followed me, she said. You creep. Are you serious? You old creep. You stalked me. I didn't follow you, I said. Other people followed your perfume trail because you act like the world is your stage. I'm just holding the playbill. Daniel looked sick. That is not what this is about, Clara said. It's exactly what this is about, I said. You want to steal my home, lie about my mind, paint me as a danger, then toss my son once you've built your rental portfolio. That was the plan, right? Steal the foundation, then walk. Classic. Her lips curled. You have no idea what you're talking about. Then correct me, I said. Please, I'm all ears. Tell me the noble motive behind that slap at your wedding. Tell me the love behind filing papers on me. Tell me the charity behind unlocking my door and flipping Lily's picture face down like she was embarrassing you. She flinched. I saw it. She hadn't thought I noticed that last part. She hadn't thought it mattered. Don't talk about Lily, Daniel said, voice small. Then act like you remember her, I snapped. Silence again. Daniel rubbed his forehead. Clara, he said finally, voice shaky. Is this true? Daniel, she said. Baby. He recoiled. He had never liked being called baby in public. She knew that. She did it anyway to keep him small. Answer, he said. Clara's eyes flicked from him to me and back again. And in that moment she understood the game had changed. She couldn't charm me and she couldn't guilt him. Her two weapons were jammed. Her face hardened. You know what, she said, standing. This is insane. I'm not going to sit here and be abused by some bitter ex-con who can't handle that his brain is melting. Daniel shot to his feet. Clara, we're leaving, she said. And Howard, let me be clear. You pulled that recording stunt and that stalking stunt and that threat against me, and I'm going to my lawyer first thing tomorrow. You think you're smart because you learned the system in prison, but trust me, I know better lawyers than you can dream of. You want a public fight, old man. You got one. She grabbed her purse. Daniel stood there shaking. Dan, I said, quiet. He looked at me, eyes wet, face red. Don't talk to me, he said. Not now. They left. The door slammed so hard the frames rattled. I sat back down and stared at the plates, the half-eaten chicken, the fork still on Clara's plate like a little flag. My hands were steady now. Step 1, complete. The next 2 weeks were a study in how fast a nice, curated life can start to smoke when you drop a little truth on it. Clara moved fast. Of course she did. She posted a long, trembling paragraph on social media about caring for aging family members, and toxic resistance to care, and generational trauma. She made herself sound like a saint carrying a drunk, violent father-in-law on her back while trying to build a loving new home. She used a picture from my kitchen, cropped in tight so you couldn't see the bourbon bottle in the background Lily gave me for our 10th anniversary. She tagged Daniel. Daniel reposted it. When I saw that, I had to stand up and walk around the apartment, so I didn't put my fist through my own wall. Here's the thing about public image. It matters. People will believe the first version they hear if it comes with a crying selfie and a ring light. So I answered, in the only language that still carries weight in a world that thinks vibes are evidence. Paper. I called my landlord. His name is Frank. He's 74 and lives on the first floor. He used to be a plumber. His knees are shot. He wears suspenders and Crocs and does not care about trends. He cares about rent on the first and the building not burning down. Hey, Frank, I said when he answered. They came into my place. I heard yelling, he said. You okay up there, Howie? Not really, I said. That girl broke my rhododendron, he said. Kicked it coming down the steps. Who kicks a rhododendron? Plant never did nothing to nobody. She's trying to take my lease, I said. Silence. Then, the hell she is. Frank, I said, remember that paper you and me signed? The plain English promise. Course I do, he said. I wrote it with my own hand on my own kitchen table. My lawyer said it wasn't formal enough, I told him formality is how you sneak knives into handshakes. I love you, Frank, I said. Uh-huh, he said. You saying you can't find yours? They took it, I said. Out of my lockbox. He swore low. Frank has old man swears you don't hear anymore. They sound like they belong in coal mines. You got yours, I said. Hell yes, I got mine, he said. In my file cabinet, under people I ain't letting the world bulldoze. I'll make you a copy. I need more than a copy, I said. I need you to say, on camera, that you wrote it and why you wrote it. I need it clean. I need it so plain no lawyer can twist it. You trying to make a video, he said, suspicious. Yes, I said. He grunted. I hate cameras. So do I said, but I hate being buried alive by that woman more. He spat, like he could hear Clara's perfume through the phone. Meet me in my kitchen in an hour, he said. Wear something with no stains in case I end up famous. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me, he said. This is self-defense. We filmed. I propped my phone on Frank's sugar canister and hit record. My name is Frank Donnelly. I own the building at 332 Ridge Street. I have been renting to Howard Hale since 2009. I wrote a letter in 2019 promising that Howard has the right to live in 3B as long as he pays rent on time and is not a danger to the building. I wrote that because I trust Howard and because he's a good tenant. I also wrote that, if Howard can't live alone anymore, his son, and only his son, can assume that lease, not any spouse or business interest. I did this because I didn't want some outsider taking advantage of Howard when he's old. Howard is not a danger to this building. Howard is not confused. Howard is stubborn. Howard swears too much. Howard fixes his own sink. Anybody says different is lying for money. And if anybody tries to file anything in court saying Howard is not fit to live here, I will show up and say this with my whole chest. Frank snapped the printed copy of the letter on the table for the camera. His name, my name, the date. You can't buy that kind of credibility. I posted that video, with permission, from my own account. It didn't hit like Clara's crying paragraph did. Nothing for the algorithm like a sad, pretty girl. But it hit where I needed it to hit. It hit Frank's circle. And Frank's circle is old guys like him who still play cards with Victor and drink coffee at the diner with the city inspector and whose nephews pull in overtime on Victor's municipal contracts. The kind of guys Clara thinks are furniture. And those guys talk. By day 3, I was getting messages from numbers I didn't know. Saw the vid. Stay strong. She always seemed slick to me. You need anything? My cousin does security cameras. Real cheap. That last one gave me an idea. Surveillance saves lives. That's not paranoia. That's experience. When you're inside, you learn quick which corners the cameras cover and which ones are blind. The cameras are the only witnesses who don't suddenly forget what happened when a guard asks. I had never wanted cameras in my apartment. I hate the idea of being watched. But I hate being erased more. I let the cousin in. We put 2 cameras in the living room and 1 in the kitchen. That's it. Nothing in the bedroom, nothing in the bathroom. I just needed eyes where hands might go through drawers. We wired them to a little drive. No cloud. I'm not feeding my life to some server farm in Utah. This was local, old school. Anybody comes in here without you, the cousin said, you got them. Judge won't care about your word versus theirs. But if you roll tape of her opening cabinets and whatnot, that's different. Judges like video. I don't plan to go to a judge, I said, but it's good to have insurance. That word again. Insurance. While I was setting traps, Clara was lighting matches. She called my doctor's office, told them I was showing signs of emotional lability, asked for evaluations, pretended to be the concerned daughter-in-law. You know how I know that? Because my doctor, bless her, called me. Howard, she said, is everything okay at home? Define okay, I said. Your daughter-in-law called and tried to set up a cognitive decline screening for you without you on the call, she said, voice careful. She did she? I said. I told her she can't do that, she said. Not without you. She's not your proxy. She got snippy. I documented the call. I'm telling you because I don't like people playing games with my patients like that, Howard. It's an ugly move, and frankly, when women like her do it to independent older men, it usually ends with those men being shipped somewhere they don't want to be because it's convenient for the family wallet, and then I see them 6 months later half sedated and sunken. I am not doing that to you. Dr. Lane, I said, and I had to swallow hard, you might have just saved my life. I haven't done anything yet, she said, but Howard, document everything. And don't sign anything they hand you. I mean it. Nothing. I don't care if they say it's for your safety. You bring it to me first. Or to a lawyer who isn't theirs. I'm on it, I said. Good, she said. Also, your cholesterol is still high. Stop eating garbage. Tried, I said. Clara didn't like my green beans either. She laughed. Talk soon, Howard. There it was. In one phone call, I had an ally with credentials and clean hands. Clara didn't know it yet, but when you try to weaponize the healthcare system against someone who's not actually failing, you better pray their doctor isn't awake. So the board was set. On my side, me, old, angry, sober enough, not stupid. Reggie, loyal, street smart, muscle I could trust to keep his hands mostly to himself. Frank, landlord, backup proof. Dr. Lane, medical credibility, and a building full of neighbors who hated Clara on instinct. On theirs, Clara, cold as ice with a flawless smile, and Daniel, morally wobbly and scared of confrontation. It was almost time to move. But first, there was the car. I didn't provoke the car. Let's be clear. They brought that to me. It was a Wednesday night, late, past midnight. I was grading essays, out of habit. I don't teach anymore. You can't exactly slide back into a public classroom after a felony conviction and a 3-year state vacation. But sometimes I pull old prompts and grade in my head just to feel normal. Write about a time you felt powerless. Give concrete detail. Show, don't tell. If you ever want to know which kids you need to keep an eye on, read that assignment. So I'm at my table with a red pen I don't need, underlining phrases on photocopies no one's going to read but me when I hear a car outside. Engine idling. Bass low, male voices, laughing. Then a loud bang on the downstairs door. Then another. Then a shout. Old man, someone yelled. Open up. My heart did that slow, heavy beat again. Not panic. Readiness. I slid my chair back, walked quiet to the door, and looked through the peephole. Couldn't see much at that angle. Just motion and shadows. I cracked the door chain enough to hear. Voices carried up the stairwell like a sewer echo. Yo, how old you think he is? I don't know, like 90. He ain't gonna do nothing. Clara said he's all talk. You sure she said this was cool? She said scare him. That's all. Clap on his door, let him know we around, stop him from doing weird stalker videos. She said he's like, what's the word? Compulsive. Compulsive, one of them repeated, pleased with himself. Yeah, so we just rattle him, show him who's in charge. She said don't touch him, though. Her lawyer said don't leave marks. She said we can't leave marks. Make sure you don't leave marks. I smiled. Always record. I hit the app on my phone and let the stairwell audio roll. Yo, you think he's asleep? One of them said. Man, old people don't sleep, the other said. They stare at their walls and drink soup and wait to die. Charming. Bang, bang, bang. My own door this time. Open up, old man, one said, voice right outside my door now. We know you awake. Come to the door. Let's talk. You like to talk, right? Come talk. I didn't answer. I eased the chain, swung the door an inch, and spoke through the gap. You boys lost, I said. There he is, the taller one said, leaning in so close I could smell cheap cologne and weed. Late 20s, bowl cap, gym arms, mouth like a guy who'd never been hit hard enough. The other one had neck tattoos that told me two things. 1, he wanted people to think he was hard. 2, he hadn't actually done enough time for those tattoos to be faded. "We're friends of Clara," Ballcap said. "She asked us to come check on you. Wellness check. You know, make sure you ain't a danger to yourself or other people." "I am absolutely a danger," I said, "just not to myself." They laughed. Ballcap leaned harder into the gap. "So here's what's going to happen, Grandpa. You're going to stop recording my girl. You're going to stop posting lies about her online. You're going to stop harassing her with your crazy stories about cheating and paperwork and whatever old man drama you think you're in. You're going to chill. And if you don't chill, we're going to keep coming by. Every night. All night if we got her. Neighbor's going to love that. Cop's going to love that. You like sleep, Grandpa. You like quiet. I'd hold on to it if I was you." "And if I call the cops right now," I said. Neck Tattoo laughed. "Call 'em. We'll tell them you got dementia and you thought we was pizza. They already got you on file for episodes. That's what Clara said last week you had an episode. You threw something," she said. "You yelled. Cop's gonna be like, 'Oh, it's that guy, that old drunk who scares the wife.' You really think they're gonna take your side? Come on, man." That told me two important things. 1, Clara had already tried to lay the paper trail with local law enforcement. That was smart, scary, but smart. She was building a case that I was erratic and dangerous, so anything I reported later would look like confusion. 2, these two idiots thought I was alone. "Clara sent you," I said. Ballcap smiled. "Clara asked us to make sure you're safe." "Tell Clara I said thank you," I said. Then I slammed the door, threw the chain, grabbed my keys, and went out the back. I didn't go out the front because I knew they'd be stupid enough to stay there. Still talking, still banging, still making themselves louder and more recorded by the second. I went down the back stairs, quiet, and slipped out into the parking lot. Reggie was in his car, engine running. He nodded once. "You called," he said. "I didn't call," I said, climbing in. "How did you know?" He shrugged. "Got eyes," he said. "One of my boys lives across from you. Said 2 clowns pulled up in a black Charger with dealer plates. Said they smelled like cheap weed and entitlement. I figured they either selling something or they Clara's cousins. Guess which one this was?" "Clara's cousins," I said. "Bingo," he said. We pulled out slow, lights off. Reggie cut the wheel sharp around the building and stopped at the corner where he had line of sight down Ridge Street. We waited. 30 seconds later, the Charger peeled out from in front of my building like a racetrack, tires squealing, laughter pouring out the windows. "Too easy," Reggie said, and pulled out behind them, lights still off. "I'm not looking to escalate this into some fast and furious fantasy," I said. "Ain't nobody furious," he said. "We casual, just a little night drive." We followed them down Ridge, then onto Maple, then through the back roads toward the nicer neighborhoods where Clara liked to be seen. Reggie kept 2 cars back, smooth, not close enough to spook them, not far enough to lose them. "How are we not escalating?" I said. "We ain't touching them," he said. "We ain't blocking them. We ain't even talking to them. We're just finding out where they go to brag. People like this, they can't just do a thing. They got to perform the thing. They got to pull up and be like, 'Look what we did. We scared the old dude. Clara gonna love us. We real now.' We gon' let them perform. We gon' film the audience. Then we gon' make that audience public if we got to." "You sure this doesn't put you in risk?" I said. He gave me a side eye. "Mr. Hale, you worried about me. That's sweet." "I'm serious," I said. "I can't have you jammed up for my mess." "This ain't your mess," he said. "This is our mess. You taught me how to read, remember? I owe you. Also, and no offense, it's kind of fun watching you get all Batman at 62. "Don't flatter me," I said. "It ain't flattery if it's true," he said. The Charger turned into a motel lot, one of those low L-shaped deals with exterior doors and flickering neon. A place that rents by the night or by the hour, depending on how much self-respect you brought with you. Of course, Reggie muttered. They parked, got out, walked to room 12, knocked some idiot knock like a pattern, and went inside. The door shut. You know who's in 12, he said. No, I said. Clara's trainer, he said. I let out a low whistle. She's sloppy. People who think they're smarter than everyone else always are, he said. They think consequences are for other people. They run up a tab like they're the only ones in the bar. We sat there in the dark for 5 minutes. 10, 15. My heart rate stayed steady the whole time. Not because I wasn't scared. I was. I just wasn't new to fear. Fear is familiar. Fear is a room I know the layout of. Finally, the door opened. Clara's trainer stepped out. I'd never seen him before. He was thick neck, shaved head, tan like he slept in a tanning bed, arms veined up like he lived in the gym. He looked like a fitness ad drawn by someone who'd never actually trained a human being. He handed Ballcap a folded envelope. Ballcap counted the bills inside, fanned them like he'd seen in rap videos, and grinned. Ain't nothing, Neck Tattoo said, but he looked impressed anyway. Pleasure doing business, the trainer said. His voice was high, which surprised me. We'll let her know you handled that, Ballcap said. Handled, the trainer said, smirking. They fist-bumped like 12-year-olds. They got back in the Charger and pulled out, laughing, music blasting. Reggie waited till they were gone, then started the engine. You see that, he said. I saw it, I said. Trainer paid her cousin's cousins to come scare you, he said. Which means Clara's using him as a wallet now, too. Which means Trainer is more invested than just sneaking around. Which means he might do dumb things to protect her. Which means we can make him nervous. Good, I said. You thinking what I'm thinking, he said. I'm thinking we invite Clara and Daniel over again, I said. But this time we lock the door. Here's where you might say, Howard, you're playing with fire. You're going to get yourself hurt. You're going too far. Let me make something clear. When someone tries to take away your freedom by painting you incompetent, there is no too far. There is only win or disappear. So I set the stage. I called Daniel and told him I had decided to sign whatever Clara needed, but I wanted to do it in person, together, calmly, just us, no lawyers, no drama. I told him I was tired of fighting. I told him I was ready to transition responsibly. He was quiet on the phone for a long time. When he spoke, his voice was wet. Thank you, he whispered. It made me sick to hear that kind of relief. Like I was a dog he could finally put down now that I had agreed to curl up in the vet's lap and stop shaking. Tonight at 8, I said. Both of you. No cousins. No Clara's dad. Just us. We keep it private. Family. Family, he said, like he believed it. Good. At 7:30, Reggie came over. He wore black. He looked like a wall. You're sure, he said. I'm sure, I said. You know I can't do nothing physical, he said. You said no marks. I promised I wouldn't put hands on your boy or his woman. I keep my word. We get in a scuffle, I'm stepping back. I ain't going back in, Mr. Hale. I don't want you to touch them, I said. I want you to sit in that chair and look like God already judged them and found them lacking. That's all. He grinned. Copy that. At 8:10, Clara walked in without knocking, Daniel behind her. That told me 2 things. 1, she still thought this was her territory. 2, Daniel still hadn't told her no. Reggie stood up. Clara froze. Her face did an entire 3-act play in 1 second. Surprise. Fear. Then, fast. Control. Howard, she said, why is this person here? This person has a name, Reggie said. You used to call me Reggie last time I pulled up at your little princess party. Clara blinked. Recognition. Then she put her hand to her chest in an act so performative, I almost applauded. Oh, she said. Right. From the wedding. The friend. That's me, Reggie said. The friend? Daniel looked at me. Dad, I thought this was just us. It's family, I said. Reggie is family. You could see Clara swallow her disgust. We're not staying if he's here, she said. Then you're not staying, I said, and went to the door and threw the deadbolt. That sound echoed in the little apartment. Her eyes snapped to me. Excuse me, she said. Sit, I said. You can't lock us in, she said. Are you insane? Daniel, tell him. Tell him this is illegal. This is kidnapping or something. It's not kidnapping, I said. Door's still there. You can open it and leave any time you want. I'm not blocking it. I'm not standing in front of it. There's a big man sitting in that chair, yes, but he's not touching you. This is a conversation. You can walk at any point. You walk, though. You don't get what you came for. Clara hesitated. Sit, Daniel said quietly. She shot him a look like a dagger. He wilted. They sat. I stayed standing. Old teacher trick. You stand, they sit, you're in charge. It's primitive and it works every time. Here's how this goes, I said. You listen. You don't interrupt. You get to respond after. You try to shout me down. We're done and I go nuclear. You know I can. You know I'm willing. Clara, you especially know, because you're good at reading people. I'll give you that. And you can see I'm not bluffing. Right now, you still believe you can steer this. You cannot. You are on my time now. Her jaw clenched. This is abusive, she said. Quiet, I said. Her eyes flashed. Nobody talks to Clara like that. Good. Let's keep breaking her reality. Fine, she said after a second. Her voice went ice cold again. Fine. You two can sit here and play Trauma Olympics. I'm going to my father's. When you calm down in the morning, you can call me and apologize. If you don't, we file. And Howard, I swear to God, you think you won something here. You didn't. I'll burn this whole thing down before I let you make me look stupid. She grabbed her purse, stormed to the door, fought the deadbolt, yanked it, and left. The door slammed behind her. Her perfume hung in the air like poison. Daniel stood in the middle of my living room, breathing like he'd just run sprints. Then he sat down on the floor and cried. Real crying. Ugly. Shoulders shaking, face wet, sound ripped out of a chest that's been tight for a year. I didn't touch him. When you touch a man in that state, sometimes it snaps the wrong way. I let him spill. Reggie leaned back, closed his eyes, and let out a long breath like we had just finished pouring concrete. After a while, Daniel wiped his face with his sleeve. His voice came out raw. Dad, he said. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. I swear, I didn't see it. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. You're not stupid, I said. You're in love. That's worse, he said, hiccuping a laugh that hurt to hear. We're not done, I said. He looked up, eyes red. What? He said, small. We're not done, I said. She walks out like she thinks this is round one. She thinks you'll crawl back in the morning and say sorry and she'll keep her hooks in. And by next week she'll have papers in front of you. And by next month I'll be in a facility. And she'll have Airbnb keys in her purse. We can't let that happen. He looked scared. What do we do? He whispered. Reggie smiled slow. We ruin her, he said.